Hello there, welcome to my channel, Mo Moon. My name is Mo, welcome. Today I will be talking about the eighth hell, the Hunt Chamber. So this is another episode in my Qliphoth Journeys series in which I share my journey on the path of the Qliphothic tree as I am traversing through it. So I have a playlist that has every episode of this Qliphoth Journeys series on my YouTube channel, Mo Moon, and I will link that in the description box below this video. So this is, I'm not sure which episode this is. I believe it's number 16, but I could be wrong. But there are at least 15 episodes prior to this one. So if you want to find out about Golakab, you can watch the last few videos because there are 9 hells in the realm of Golakab. And as I said, I am in the 8th hell, the Hunt Chamber. So I guess I'm just going to do as I usually do with these videos and just leave a trigger warning. If there's anything in this video that is triggering, you were warned beforehand. The Qliphothic tree, the tree of Qliphoth, is the tree of the Temple of Ascending Flame. The tree of knowledge, the tree of the night side, the tree of the shadow tree. And it is connected with the tree of life. And I am no scholar in this regard. So I'm not going to explain to you what the tree of life is. I'm just discovering the tree of knowledge as I go through it. I have read a little bit about the tree of life and about its Severo. And in the Qliphothic tree, the one that I'm in and the one that I'm discovering, we have Qliphoths or husks. And it is said that this tree is the first tree that was created that could not hold the emanations of God. Now, when I say the emanations of God, I'm not talking about the Hebrew God. I'm talking about Lucifer. And if you watch any previous videos to this one, you do hear me say that I believe that this is the path to Lucifer's throne, and this is the path that Lucifer himself had to take after his fall. And his fall from his throne, perhaps he was dethroned by the adversary temporarily, but Lucifer has reclaimed his place on his throne in the realm of Samael, and it's a path that I'm taking in order to regain my godhood as well. Some people say that when you finish initiating through the Qliphothic tree, you become a god. I believe that we are all as above, so below, as within, so without, as the universe, so the soul. So whatever is outside of ourselves is also what we are, because everything is a mirror of itself. So when I say that I will be able to reach Lucifer on his throne at Thamael and regain my godhood status, what I mean by that is the Qliphothic tree is a tree that allows you to face your shadows. And so far, what I've learned is that in facing those shadows, I have become a stronger person. And as I have become a stronger person and faced those shadows, I have become more immune to triggers that would trigger what's within my shadows. And when you become stronger against triggers, you become less likely to be thrown off balance. And so as I have been journeying through this tree, I have been realizing that I have been a lot more balanced and that I feel more stable and sturdy and protected and grounded. And it's interesting because I believe that as you start this Qliphothic journey, you are facing more of the physical realm, and as you move through the Qliphothic tree towards Thamael, the twin gods, you deal with more psychic energy as opposed to the bottom of the tree, which is grounded earthly energy. So as I am traveling through this Qliphothic tree, and as I am more connected now to the psychic realm, but also more grounded than I've ever been, more balanced than I've ever been, I feel like that's part of where I've been gaining my strength as I learn and travel through this tree. So this is the book I'm using. Excuse me. So this is the book I'm using. Tree of Qliphoth, The Temple of Ascending Flame. There are several authors of this book, but it is edited and compiled by Asenath Mason, and it is about the Tree of Qliphoth. So this can get complicated because I will be talking about the tree, and because you are not, me, and you're not where I am at right now at this point in time, as the astrology is the way it is, you might not understand what I'm saying. It might sound like gibberish to you because I will be using words like Golakab and Hells and Qliphoth and entities, names that you are not aware of maybe, or you're not familiar with. And so when I say that I am working with King Asmodeus now, King Asmodeus is the ruler of Golakab. And Golakab is a Qliphoth within the Tree of Knowledge. And so Golakab is just a spheric energy within the Tree of Qliphoth. And as I've been traveling through this tree, I've been moving from spheric energy to spheric energy, Qliphoth to Qliphoth. Excuse me. So right now, if I look at the map of the tree, and this is what the map of the tree looks like. So this is where I started, which is where most people start, in the realm of Lilith. And you move your way through the tunnel into the next Qliphoth, or spheric energy. And you see it's a sphere, so that's why I call it a spheric energy. So right now I have reached Golakab right here. So I've completed all these lower Qliphoths, and then I have to move across to the next Qliphoth. And when I want to go to Dath, there is no tunnel. So I have to figure out how to get from Golakab, from Gag Shabla, which is after Golakab, to Dath. And I already know how I'm going to do that. So I'm in Golakab, and I've been here for a few months now. I believe I started in the summer of 2024 this past summer in Golakab, and now it is winter 2024 and I'm still in Golakab. And the prior cliff auths that I had been traveling through, I had taken about a month between travels. So a month from one cliff auth to the next until I reached Golakab. And in Golakab, I am doing 9 months worth of work. So I entered Golakab and I waited a month to kind of feel the energies, and then I entered the first hell of Golakab. And from the first hell of Golakab, I waited a month, and then I entered the second hell of Golakab. And then I entered, after a month, the third hell of Golakab. And then after a month, I entered the fourth hell of Golakab. And then after a month, I entered the fifth hell of Golakab. And then after a month, I entered the sixth hell of Golakab. And then after about a month, I entered the seventh hell of Golakab. And now it's been, I think, 2.5 weeks, and I am getting ready to enter into the ninth hell of Golakab, which is the throne, King Asmodeus' throne, the ruler of Golakab. So right now I am in the 8th hell, and I have been here, like I said, for about 2.5 weeks. And as you see here, it says the Hunt Chamber, and this is the sigil that was created by divine guidance, or infernal guidance, I guess I should say, so that one could use it to enter into the hell through ritual. And that's how I've been moving from cliff auth to cliff auth, is by creating a ritual in which I call on the energies that need to be called on in order to enter into each cliff auth, to be able to gather gnosis. And gnosis, if you're not familiar, is knowledge. So personal gnosis is personal knowledge, and that's what this video is about. It's about my personal knowledge, my personal gnosis. So if you have been here before yourself and you don't feel like what I'm saying is accurate, just remember that this is my personal gnosis and yours could be different. But I have a good guidebook here, this guidebook Tree of Cliff Auth that I got online. And so the guidebook has been kind of giving a description of what that personal hell will look like with King Asmodeus' guidance. So I'm just going to read through this short paragraph about the 8th hell, and it's going to guide me to explain to you on the day side, which is in my real life, what I've been experiencing in my psychic senses, because this is a more ethereal, more spiritual understanding than it is physical understanding. Because it is Golakab. But I'm going to try to talk about my actual day side life and my night side life at the same time as I read through this. So I will stop and just kind of give you an explanation of how that makes me feel and what I know and experience with that. So the 8th hell, the Hunt Chamber. All right. The gate leads to a dark corridor in a cellar or a dungeon. And it does feel very dark here. I'm just saying. There are stairs down, and there is shallow water on the ground. There are stairs down, and there is shallow water on the ground, hot and producing thick vapors. Thick vapors. So it does feel stuffy here. It feels like it's hard to breathe in this hell. So I would say that's accurate. There is also a small island in the center where you can see the guardian of the realm. And the guardian of the realm is King Asmodeus. And I do feel like I've been able to perceive his presence in my life a lot more now. So it makes sense that he has a throne in the middle of the eighth hell, from which we are able to see him, because like I said, he feels more present in my life now than ever before. And I think it's because I can see him on his throne. And it's interesting because the ninth hell is called the throne. And that is where King Asmodeus resides, in Golokab. So at this point in the eighth hell, the Hunt Chamber, I can see King Asmodeus on his throne, and I'm aware that he's very close to me, but at the same time, I feel like I haven't truly understood his energy yet, or what Golokab is all about, right? Which is the Qliphoth that King Asmodeus rules. Excuse me. Okay, so there is a small island in the center where you can see the guardian of the realm. Asmodeus appears here as a snake or a man dressed in snake skin. His hands are bony, his head is hooded, and you cannot see it. But when he lowers the hood, his face is that of a black snake. But when he lowers the hood, his face is that of a black snake. He sits on a throne and holds a burning scythe. The island itself is made of dog bones and skulls. When he rises and strikes the ground with the scythe, the skeletal hounds rise at his command and chase the souls that are imprisoned here. The whole realm consists of narrow corridors comprising a huge labyrinth. So if you can imagine a labyrinth with a small island in the center where you can see the guardian of the realm. So it is dark, it is stuffy, there are vapors rising from the hot ground, and King Asmodeus is in the center of this realm on his throne in the dark. And he is wearing a hooded cape, and when you see his face, it is that of a black snake. So it sounds really like something that you would picture in a movie, like some sort of sci-fi, movie. But when one reads the description of the hell, it's like one steps into the movie and kind of can describe what it feels like to be in that movie. So the whole realm consists of narrow corridors comprising a huge labyrinth. The souls are hunted here for eternity. They continuously run and hide, never finding any rest. When you assume the god form of Asmodeus, you also achieve his powers over this realm. You are handed the scythe and you can drag a soul here, cut the silver thread that binds it with the body, and enjoy watching it chased by the demonic hounds. So as you can understand from what I've just read, people don't physically enter this realm. They enter this realm with their soul. And people who are banished to this hell have their soul thread cut from their body, and so physically these people will be in the physical realm, but in their soul they'll be experiencing something like the Hunt Chamber if they're in the eighth hell. And so I volunteered to come to this hell, but the important thing I think is to get to the eighth hell in the order that it is presented. So I was explaining in one of my Instagram posts about Golokab that each hell seems to be getting easier. But I think what I mean by that is it seems to be easier to endure the energy of Golokab, knowing that I'm reaching the end. Every time I move into another hell, I'm moving from the first to the second to the third to the fourth to the fifth to the sixth to the seventh to the eighth. So I'm at the eighth now, and the last hell in Golokab is the ninth hell, and it's the throne. So after the ninth hell of Golokab, I will be moving into another Qliphothic spheric energy, which is Ga'ag Shabla. So I think the reason why it feels like it's getting easier for me is because I'm getting close to the end, and I know that it's not going to be that much long before I finish with this energy of these hells. So I don't actually think it's getting easier, but I do think that if I hadn't moved from the first hell into the previous hell, the second hell, and so on and so forth, I wouldn't have the gnosis, the knowledge to be able to endure the lesson of the following hell, because it's kind of like blocks, and I have a good foundation with the first hell of Golokab, so that I could move to the next block, which is the second hell of Golokab, and so on and so forth. So as I said, this is a very psychic lesson. It's not a lesson that is very obvious in the day in the day realm or in the 3D realm. It's not a lesson that is very obvious, but psychically I have gnosis about this hell that I believe is real, and because I feel so grounded and stable, I think that it's legit. So let me finish reading, and I'll tell you what I see about this hell. So the snake skin, the skin of Asmodeus that displays his connection to the draconian current, protects you from the harmful influence of the fire of Golokab. Now, the draconian current is the dragon path. So his snake skin connects him to the dragon's path, the snake skin of King Asmodeus. Because remember, he was in a hooded cape with a black snake head. So the snake skin and the draconian current are basically the same thing, because the skin of a snake and the skin of a dragon are very similar, if not completely similar, except for the form that the entity takes. So this, as I told you, for me is the Temple of Ascending Flame. And the reason why I call it that and associate it with the dragon is because dragons breathe fire, right? So, and their fire goes upward when they breathe it. Their fire goes in the direction that they send it. So this connection here with King Asmodeus and the draconian current protects the person here who is seeking the knowledge from the harmful influence of the fire of Golokab. So I know there's at least another Qliphoth, at least another hell within this Qliphoth Golokab that does have to do with fire. And of course, fire is synonymous with the dragon as well. So the fire, however, is both destructive and creative. Here it can be used to summon and animate that which is dead. The lesson of this realm is about the power that you attain and develop on the path, the mastery of life and death, and all that comes with it. With this power, you can do anything and decide about fates of yourself and others, but it all comes with a burden of responsibility. So when they say the fate of yourself and others, when they say the fate of other people that you can have control over with this energy is a psychic power, a psychic energy, if you will. To be able to decide the fate of others. And that is because, as we read, you can cut the cord between the physical body and the soul body, and they, in their soul, will be dealing with this energy. So let me just explain to you how this has kind of been expressed to me in my 3D realm. So because I'm at work 5 days a week, because I work full time, and if you watched my last video, you saw what I said about the hospital and what it kind of felt like and how my colleagues were kind of interacting with me. And I think in the previous hell as well, before the seventh hell, the sixth hell, I think I had been talking about the hospital as well, and kind of my own understanding of myself, my own vision of myself, my own, how I perceive myself, and how I perceive myself within my environment. So because I'm at work so often, like I said, a lot of the energy of Golakab will play out in my work environment. And in the last video in this series, I talked about how I was not going to accept negative energy from my colleagues. And a lot of how I deal with negative energy that I get, regardless, is in my own mind. So I create affirmations in my mind while I'm working to help me deal with negative people. So, excuse me. So that's basically how I've been dealing with negative energy now. And it's not going to show in my character. It's not going to show in anything that I say verbally. It's not going to show in my attitude. But in the spiritual realm, it shows. Because we are all spirit and we all are soul, as well as body, mind, essence, and so many other things, aura. So people have a chemical reaction to each other. People have an electromagnetic reaction towards each other. People have vibrations towards each other. So when I talk about the psychic realm, I'm talking about all those different aspects that you can't see. The aura, the electromagnetic field, the chemical reactions, the energy that is sent out, the body language, the eye contact or lack of. So what I've been noticing is that just like in the eighth hell, the hunt chamber, I've been reacting to situations and I'll move away from those situations moments later, and it feels like the other person is still harping on the interaction that we just had. And I'm aware of that, but I move on and I move on to the next interaction. But because that interaction has already taken place in the unseen realm, I am able to disconnect myself from it quickly, even though I still am aware that it was a thing and that it could have made a lasting impression on me, but didn't, because I was able to cut the cord. But they are left in my energy, because my energy right now is in the eighth hell. So these people, when I cut the cord, I'm cutting the cord just like King Asmodeus, and I'm letting them be chased by the hounds of the eighth hell. Now, I know what you're thinking. Did you take your meds this morning? And that's none of your business. But not to be rude, but yeah, I take medication for a lot of the things that I deal with. And when I say medication, I don't just mean medication, I mean herbal supplements as well. So trust me, I'm doing fine. But if I had to explain to you the energy of this hell in a spiritual sense, I would say that's what it's like. It's like cutting the cord between the interaction with me and somebody who's being negative, and assuming Asmodeus's form on the throne in the center of the labyrinth, and watching spiritually these people with whom I've cut the cord deal with their own energy by themselves. And when I say deal with their own energy, I mean deal within the energy that they dared to meet me in order to confront me. So just to make this clear to you, I haven't been rude to my colleagues. I haven't gotten in trouble at work. I still have a really good reputation at work. I've been there for over 10 years now. I have a shining reputation. People know me as a really good and dedicated and hard worker, diligent, punctual, always, on time and punctual, never slacking, So none of that's changed, right? And I still have my job. I haven't been given any warnings for anything because I haven't done anything. So in the physical realm, it looks like nothing's happening. But in the spiritual realm, I see how this hell is coming forward. And the interesting thing about going through the Qliphoth is that you always remember the lesson you learned, because you're learning a physical lesson, but you're also learning a spiritual lesson. And unless you learn that physical and spiritual lesson by entering into the energies that this book talks about, and many other books regarding the Qliphoth, unless you enter the energies that this book talks about, you will not know the lesson of each of those energies. But because I have entered into the realm of the Qliphoth, and I have been through these current energies, I can always access them because it's a lesson that I've learned, and I have the knowledge within me, within my DNA, within my psychic abilities, within my conscious, within my soul, mind, body, spirit, essence, aura, divine masculine, divine feminine, mother, maiden, and crone energy, all this energy, the lessons have been learned in all those energies. So honestly, I think I have, I'm benefiting from these lessons. I think I have a leg up, so to speak, when it comes to dealing with people, because I've dealt with my own shadows so much so that I've risen above them. So because I've been dealing with so many of my shadows going through this Qliphothic tree, a lot of the shadows that I am dealing with, or that I have dealt with already, other people have not dealt with themselves. And it's not my problem what you do and don't do. It's not my problem what you do and don't watch. It's not my problem what you do and don't learn. It's not my problem. You do you, I do me, and we'll just leave it like that. Like, if I encounter somebody that wants to go, they don't want to go physically, they're not trying to start a fight, but they want to confront me, They want to confront me, and they do that energetically, because in a work environment, you have to respect your colleagues. But energetically, they confront me. They can confront my motives. They confront my attitude. They confront me, and when they confront me, they confront their shadows, because all those shadows that I've dealt with, they're all there within me, at peace with who I am. So, like I said, it's a mirror. So if they come at me with their mirror, and they look at me with the mirror, and what they see is reflected, what's reflected in them is my shadows. And because they haven't already dealt with those shadows like I have, then they're left with dealing with those shadows that they mirrored back. Like, they looked in my mirror and they saw what they didn't want to see. And that was that they were looking back at themselves and all their shadows that I already have made peace with, So hopefully some of you will get this. Hopefully all of you will get this. I know it's kind of maybe gibberish to some people, but I'm doing my best to express to you the energies and how they differ from the physical realm, and why this Qliphoth has been more spiritual and psychic, because it's getting closer to the top of the tree, Thalmaya. So I guess that's it for now. Thank you for watching. Remember, I'm leaving the Qliphoth Journeys playlist link in the description box down below. And if I can, I'll also leave a link to my main Instagram account if you want to follow me over there. Thank you for being here with me, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.